Well, let me sum this up for you. There is no reconciliation between Agile and the software development lifecycle. It's the Wild West? Yeah.
What's that smell?
Free and open source software is really great. You can share developer to developer, buy a t-shirt and support the maintainers, and it's really great. I'm currently a member of a very popular free and open source organization. I've contributed to others, and I have a ton of vanity projects. The problem comes in when you want to use free and open source software to bootstrap your large software project that needs to be highly available. Now, free and open source software is worth it to large companies because they save billions of dollars in labor at first. So it's worth the risk. Oof, can't see. When a deeply nested package brings down production because you blessed the Dependbot PR and trusted the Semver, well, that can cost a few bucks too. The maintainer of the deeply nested dependency, probably has a day job. So you can hack in a patch and then track that patch every time there's a new release of this deep dependency and make sure that it doesn't break you when they fix it. And you don't really have to worry because when you're tracking these dependencies and putting in patches, it only takes up about 110% of the time of a few of your resources, so it's not a big deal. Now, if a large company open sources software and they make it free, it's usually not out of the kindness of their heart. Usually it's an internal project where 15 years ago you would hire contractors to maintain it. But now you can just open source it and allow the community to maintain it for free. It's a great deal. Now, some companies do supply some labor, but their product engineers are working on products. Now, you're probably better off forking a project that you like and then cherry picking commits that come down in the future, and then you can have what you want. And then if you do something useful, you can always try to push back up to the original branch through a PR and give back. Once you do this and once you break off, you're no longer going to be supported. Now, you can just try to hire the maintainers, but of course you have to hire the maintainers of the package that you like and the dependencies of that package and the dependencies of the dependencies and so on and so forth. So that might get a little bit expensive. You can also become a sponsor of that project and dependencies and the dependencies and so on and so forth, and that can get expensive as well. It's probably not a good idea to depend on vanity projects to be what glues your production application together. That's a problem because most free and open source projects are vanity projects. Most people want recognition for their brilliant ideas. I know I do, most definitely. But you don't want to rely on a vanity project maintained by one person because by the time it's been a while working on that project, that person has probably become bitter and angry and probably has good reason to be bitter and angry, but that's really not your problem because you have a product in production that you need to keep reliable and have it keep working. Now, a solution is probably for free and open source software to actually sell a support tier of some sort and then offer some sort of service level agreement. Of course, now you're not really free and open source, so you're something else. So when you open source your brilliant idea, you probably want to keep in mind what the future holds for you. If you don't promote it and you don't market it as the next big framework or whatever, then you're probably fine. But you're not going to get the vanity payoff when you do that. So once you promote it and you start actually fixing things and adding features, then people are going to come to expect that. So you shouldn't be too shocked, a couple years later when you haven't slept and, you're working on this and you're pissed off because people are expecting you to fix things when you're a volunteer. That's true. you're not obligated to fix anything, and they're not entitled to get any fix. So if your goal is to start a software company, then start a software company. If your goal is to build free and open source software for other developers, that's great. And then you can share and do all that kind of stuff. But when you have people using your software to run their production products, that's a choice they made. And so when they don't get things fixed, well, that's the bed they made. A good idea might be a free developer version, a free community version, and then some sort of commercial version that costs money. Now, of course, then you've taken the F out of FOSS, but what else are you going to do? Now, I would encourage all tech decision makers at companies who are deciding to use something free and open source to give back in some way to these projects, either as sponsors or having the company actually dedicate time for its engineering team to work on issues for that project and give back in some way.
Vim.